Hey, what's up guys? BJ Dell back with a new video. Before we jump into the video though, I want to tell you about an upload schedule that I started. I talked about it in my last video, so I want to thank everyone for commenting and let me know their feelings on that. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be posting new videos. That's 3 days a week, and each day is going to have a theme. So Monday's videos are going to be the Let's Draw series. That's where I take a design from the sketch process all the way up to the final piece, showing you all the line work, the inking, the colors, the highlights, and the shadows. And then on Wednesdays, which is actually what today's video is, I'm going to do an art and design critique. So I want you guys to send in stuff you're working on. If you're using my tutorials and my videos to make new work, I want to see it. I want to see what you guys are doing. And that's the way I can show it off to the viewers too, to kind of inspire them, show them what other people are creating. Use it as a way to kind of highlight some of the stuff that's going right, some of the stuff that might be improved on. So that's on Wednesdays. That's what today's video is. For this first video, I went ahead and got on Facebook and some of the groups that I'm in, requested people to send in designs if they wanted to be part of today's video. So I collected 3 off the Facebook group. That's what today's is. And then Fridays is going to be story time. So on story time videos, like my previous one that I had posted, it's pretty much just going to be either a speed paint or a time-lapse video, or if it's a shorter one, I might just keep it, you know, real speed. But instead of walking you through the exact steps and telling you everything I'm doing, you'll be able to watch it. But I'm just going to tell, you know, an interesting, entertaining story over top of it. Could be, you know, about art, career in art, or just past experiences, stuff like that. But I'll always try to keep it entertaining. So that gives you 3 days you can watch me, or it gives you 1 day you can watch me, or 2 days. You can decide what you want to get out of the channel. You don't have to watch all 3 days, or you can if you really love me and just, you know, want to see my face 3 days a week. So that's a possibility too. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into today's video, but make sure you stay tuned to the outro. I'm going to tell you how you can send the designs into me for Wednesday's videos, and I hope you enjoy this kind of video. Let me know. Okay, so let's get started. For today's video, I asked in a couple of the merch groups on Facebook for people to send me in samples of some of their work for today's critique. So I've got 3 designs that I'm going to go over today. They're all very different in nature. That's why I picked these 3. So they'll kind of show you some different design principles between the 3 of them. So the first one I want to start out with is a really basic design, Irish pub boxing. This design is fantastic. I love the layout of it. First thing that kind of strikes me right off the bat is I like how the gloves, the strings here kind of come up above this design part here, so they kind of add some weight to those coming down, and the way everything is wrapped then around the gloves. The tracking here brings this kind of around it. The boxing's wrapped around here, and then especially this part here, how this section of the bar that's got the shamrocks in it is kind of cut out around the shape of the glove. Super, super well done. Really don't have anything bad to say about this one. With these videos, I want to show you, you know, how to make designs better, what works, what doesn't. This one's so good, I'm actually going to do the opposite on this one, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to make this design worse here. So I'm going to double this one here and duplicate it. So we have the original, and I'm going to make some changes here to show you some of the common mistakes that people will start out with in graphic design, and why the mistakes avoided in this one actually work really, really well. So I want to go ahead and move these gloves out of the way. So we'll just lasso those there, and if I get on the right layer here, we'll go ahead and move those down out of the way here, and then I'm going to go ahead and erase part of this up here. Like I said, I just want to make this design not as good. It will actually be a common mistake that a lot of people do starting out with graphic design. As you can tell, this one is not something that is an illustration using, you know, techniques or anything from my tutorials. It's more of a basic graphic design, but even though it's basic, it just works. And I love what they did with the design. I think it's very, very well thought out. Placement of everything is great. But a lot of people don't start out with that ability and make some common mistakes. One of these common mistakes they make is just make everything really plain, really boring, and it's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this. Choose really just plain spacing. They'll get everything lined up, you know, perfectly to where it's just straight across, and we'll just fill this canvas out with the wording here. Stretch this out. So, you know, they might have that design part up there and then just have these gloves like randomly thrown in down here. So, you know, a nice big design fills up the whole canvas, but you can tell there's really not a lot interesting going on. Sure, you've got the distressed effect still, but everything is really boxy. The gloves are just kind of thrown in. They don't really fit into the design. Now compare that with the original design and you can see just how well that first design works. You know, like I said, the spacing of everything is fantastic, and the way that they wrapped this part of the design and the text around the gloves, just it's just really well done. So the only thing I would possibly change is I'm really particular about my distressed effects. As you can see on here, the S doesn't have any distressing whatsoever. I'm not saying it has to be as heavy as all these areas here, but I would, you know, try to get at least a couple flecks in here. Same thing with the O down here, just, you know, a couple here and there, especially here on this bar. And by doing that, if you have, you know, a PNG or a PNG file that you're using for the distressing, like I've shown in one of my previous videos, there's going to be parts of it that don't overlap the image. So if you go down to your lasso and let's say there's some parts down here, you can kind of lasso those and move them in here and just, you know, kind of place them around. That's why I don't really like to use distressing effects straight out of the box, so to speak, and not make any changes, because they're going to look different no matter the design. Your design is going to be positioned differently over or under the distressing effects. So just moving those around and kind of fitting them to match your design is how I would do it. So this one is, like I said, actually from somebody that's on the Merch by Amazon platform. This is not a design that's live on the Merch by Amazon platform. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this design too, because the anonymous person that sent it in to me told me that it was not live because Irish pub boxing is actually trademarked. So very important learning lesson here. Before you even think about starting a design, always do a trademark check first. You know, you're going to waste a lot of time making a design, especially if you know, make a killer design like this that really works. It just kind of sucks to spend all that time and not be able to do anything with it. I guess even worse is if you're actually hiring a designer and paying someone to do this. You know, you just paid for something that you can't even sell. So before, you know, you smash that submit button on the platform and submit it to Amazon, always check first. But before that, I would even check before you start on the design, just to save yourself, you know, wasted time or wasted money. So that's design number 1. Design number 2. There we go. Happy New Year, 2019, Year of the Pig. Zoom in on this a little bit. This design is awesome. You can tell a lot of time and effort went into this. It's a really professional design. Once again, this was sent to me by someone on the merch groups who's part of the Merch by Amazon platform. This one is a live design that's up, and it's really, really well done. I absolutely love it. The one thing I wasn't too sure about when I first saw the thumbnail was the overlap between the text down here. It wasn't until I pulled up the full-size image that I saw what they did, and they wrapped, you know, the Y's around the loops of the numbers here. So getting a closer look, I do kind of like that. I see where they were going with it, so it's really cool. But looking at the design, you can tell this person has their own style, their own technique. This doesn't really use the same style that I use, so that kind of just shows you to each their own. You can still make some really awesome designs by using different techniques. You know, I love the use of colors here. You got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors that make up the yellow part there of the robe. And same thing with the reds. Just the way everything flows looks really good. I absolutely love it. I like this part here too. You can see that they used almost like an airbrush technique here to lighten it up, but that was used super sparingly, and it wasn't actually used anywhere else on the design. I think when people use that too much all over, it kind of takes away, but I really like it used sparingly right there in the middle. That is really cool. And as you can see too, line weights up here, the fan up here has pretty thick lines, but then the bamboo parts down here have a little bit thinner lines, so I do like that. Looks like those are the same ones, they just mirrored and flipped them over, because you can see this here has a little bit of the red going into this area, and it also is featured over there too, which that could probably be cleaned up a little bit, but that and maybe straighten out some of these lines. But for the most part, I absolutely love this design. Just personal preference and how I do things. I like tapered lines, so I would probably taper these off a little bit here. And same thing with the ears here. These just have that one solid line weight to them. And I'm not a big fan of that, but it really works for this. It does, I mean, it doesn't distract or take away from the design too much. The person that sent this through to me said they've sold a few but haven't been really happy with the sales on this one. So that always tells you too, I mean, you've got a killer design like this. There's a few different reasons why the sales might not be there. A few things to consider, of course, is you know, your title, your brand, your keywords, your bullet points, all that stuff. On these videos, I just want to focus on the design and the art critique and the layout. I'm not going to focus on any of that stuff. So if you guys did find my channel because you are on the Merch by Amazon platform and want to learn more about that, I really suggest you check out the Average Joe Merch Show. RJ, Matt, Young, and Matt put that on YouTube. So I'll go ahead and put a link in the description for that. Really good show. They'll actually do like a live coaching with a Merch by Amazon seller and pull up their live listings. They'll critique the designs, and they'll also critique and give points and tips on keywords and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that and you came here to this channel because of Merch by Amazon, definitely check them out. One other thing here, because you don't know if this is going to sell, I always try to scale designs. One of the reasons too it might not sell is because of saturation in a certain market. So if you can use the same design across different niches or niches, that's a good idea too. This you're not going to be able to get too much out of besides the Chinese New Year. Obviously you're not going to be able to throw this on like a Christmas shirt or a Mother's Day shirt without making some major changes. But I would try to scale this to a few different designs. So let's say this isn't selling because people don't like the text down here. I would go ahead and drop that out. If you've got the slots to, you know, upload more, I would put this on as many as you can. Maybe take that out, make the whole design, fill up the whole canvas with just the pig design, so it's just an illustration t-shirt. Also, maybe take out this font and replace it with a different font. Might be kind of cool to add, you know, Happy New Year in Chinese lettering down here. Another version might be, let's say you add in like some of the lamps, the Chinese lamps over here, you know, maybe have some lights that are strung down here, and then have, you know, the Chinese lettering, or just have, you know, 2019, or just have the Chinese lettering for pig down here. Honestly, just try to get as many as you can up out of one design, just so, you know, you don't know what's going to sell. You don't know what people are going to like. So use what you can as often as you can. So one thing I've talked about in interviews before is if you're taking the time to do a design, and especially if you're paying a designer to do it, get the most bang for your buck, either time or money, and get something that you're going to be able to use over and over again on a lot of different types of designs. So that's that one. And let's go to the third and last one. This one is my favorite. This one is from Melissa. She is a viewer of the channel, and she also is a member of some of the merch groups on Facebook. So as you can tell, Melissa has been watching the videos and applying some of the techniques that I was talking about in the videos, some of the principles, and really using the tutorials. So I absolutely love this. The reason why I love this so much is because the story behind it. Melissa told me she really just started drawing in October and got her iPad in November. So she's not been at this very long. So that's why this really stands out to me and really shows you what people can do if you just practice. So first thing I'll start with is the shadows. She's obviously got the light source coming in from this way. So you've got the highlights over here, you've got the shadows on this side, and you can see she's got a really strong grasp of how the shadows work, where they place, and how to put them on there. I think this actually showing up as a highlight over here, so I would either drop this highlight here or make the shadow come clear around there. A couple other tips here is like this nose part coming up here is giving off that shadow. So make sure you're paying attention to that and then drop any of these shadows down to where they touch that. It was going above here to where that's not really going to give off the shadow like that, but you definitely have got the idea down. I can tell that is awesome and I love it so much. And I just like the design itself. You know, you've got a cat holding books. It kind of tells a story, makes you want to know more. Why is this cat holding books? Why does he got books down here? What's going on with this crazy cat? So really like that. A couple other things here, and I've gone over this in some of the videos before too. It looks like for the body itself, I'll switch this back over to black. The body itself, you probably used, you know, the ellipse tool and then, you know, erased, made it on a separate layer that overlaps, just because this is the perfect circle going around there, which is perfectly fine to use, but to make it a little bit more interesting so it doesn't look just so mechanical going around, I would probably go ahead and go in here and taper these lines. As you can see, I'm doing this on one layer. I didn't have them send in layered files, so this is going to look a little weird doing this because I can't actually go in on the separate layers. But just doing this to where the lines don't connect, they give the illusion that they're going to connect because they come down in the, you know, the same way, but just having that little break in there with the taper on the ends, that's going to make it look, like I said, a little less mechanical. Yeah, doing something like that. Also over here, it looks like you probably used the streamline on this shoulder that goes into the arm, which once again looks a little mechanical, so maybe adding a little bit of variance in the line weight as it comes down and around. Plus with that one, you've got the light source coming in from this way, so if you're doing line weight to show shadows, you would probably want this line to be a little bit thinner. As you can see, this is going to be the shadowed area of the cat, and this shoulder over here in the arm, the line is a lot thinner than this line over there. So I would change that part and make that a little bit thinner, or make this one a little bit thicker over here. And yeah, the last thing I would do here, line weight on the book, maybe make the line weight a little bit smaller since it is in the center of the image. If nothing else, at least make the cover of the book that's in the center of the book, make that line weight smaller. You'll want the line weight for the outside of the book to be heavier, and probably, I think this probably needs to be green down here since it's the spine of the book. That, and then for those and the ones down here, I love the shape of these books. You did killer on this, the way that this comes around and kind of curves, and then the way that the pages curve in underneath of this cover coming out. Fantastic job. I'd probably throw in a couple of light lines. Don't make them too heavy, but a couple of lines here just to show the viewer the pages. Don't go crazy and make, you know, perfect lines all the way straight across, but just add in some of those there. Might kind of tell the viewer even more so that, yeah, these are, you know, books that he's holding and standing on. So yeah, but other than that, fantastic job, Melissa. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. Either way, I want to know what you guys think. Personally, I had a lot of fun doing today's video, and I really look forward to doing these Wednesday videos. I think they're a really good way to learn, kind of see what other people are doing. So, if you want to see your work possibly featured in an upcoming Wednesday video, here's how. After this video is over, wait till the end so you can see, all this. But after this video is over, go on over to Facebook. I created a new group on Facebook. It's called Keep Creating, a Learn, Draw, Share Art Community. Join the group and start posting away. Put your artwork in there. If you don't feel comfortable posting your artwork right away, just join the group anyways. I'm sure you can make some really cool friends. We're going to build a community off of this, kind of build each other up, and it's going to be a good learning process. So I look forward to seeing your guys' work. Like today, seeing Melissa, having her send that in to me was just fantastic. I love doing these videos, and it really makes it all worthwhile when I see stuff like that or see some of the posts in the group saying, hey, I made this by watching your videos. So I want to see more of that. It doesn't have to be stuff based on my videos. I want to see what you guys are making. It could be traditional media stuff. Just want this to be all about the art community. So like I said, hop on over to that Facebook group after we're done, join it, and we'll start seeing what you guys are doing. So look forward to it. As for me, I can be found online as always at bjdell.com and on Instagram and Twitter at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.